My name's Paul Bates, I'm Director of the Cabot Institute, and we're delighted to welcome AXA Research and Cathy Cashman here today to the M Shed in Bristol to launch her AXA Research Chair and also to discuss the topic of volcanoes and society.
The focus of today is to try to pull together different groups of people who are interested in not just how volcanoes work, which is my field, but also the effect that volcanoes have on people and societies.
The AXA Research Fund is part of the AXA brand, and AXA, the global insurance company, first relates to knowledge and science because we have experts, and to protect our customers we obviously use scientific results and statistics and this type of stuff. But this is only part of what people need to be protected from well, any event, threat, risk that may arise.
The big problem is that volcanoes are intrinsically unpredictable. We can forecast likely patterns of behavior, but we can't ever say in precise detail this volcano will erupt in 10 days' time with this intensity or magnitude and produce these sort of impacts.
There's probably about 550 active volcanoes around the world, and about 50 of them erupt every year. And there's several hundred million people who live close enough to active volcanoes that they're at least inconvenienced, and sometimes their lives are threatened when those volcanoes erupt.
As we saw a couple of years ago, volcanoes in Iceland can impact and shut down airspace over Europe. Volcanoes also affect human livelihood, they affect agriculture, and although in any one location there's only a volcanic eruption once every several hundred years around the world, there are always volcanoes erupting, and as societies grow and become more complex, there are always various societies at risk of disruption from volcanic eruptions.
Actually, these 50 or so volcanoes that erupt every year are actually forming a natural pollution. They put little tiny particles of volcanic dust and what are called aerosols, little droplets of liquid into the atmosphere all the time. And this actually cuts down the solar radiation and absorbs radiation from the sun. So they're an important part of understanding the Earth's climate. Now, sometimes when there's a really big eruption, an awful lot of this natural pollution goes into the atmosphere, and it actually creates really very strong changes in climate over perhaps the next couple of years or so. Just to give you one example, in 1815 there was a massive eruption of the volcano called Tambora in Indonesia, and that caused frosts in the summer in New England in the United States.
AXA funding this in a sort of very wide way will allow us to work with social scientists and in more detail with economists because of potential impacts on commerce, on industry, aviation, all of which we saw last year and the year before with the Thailand floods and the Eyjafjallajökull eruption that interrupted aviation in Europe. The scientists have one part of the picture. It's a jigsaw, and the bits don't fit together very well. So the more work we can do on this jointly, the better we'll get an image that we can use for decision making.